Right now, I'm going over how the NBA 2K21 Myplayer builder can be as good as possible, and how NBA 2K21 can make the builder so it pleases almost everyone, and how 2K can make the builder the most balanced, which would create the most skill-based competition in NBA 2K20. Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Story of Sam, back with another NBA 2K21 video today, and today I'm not discussing news, but instead talking about what I want changed, fixed, swapped out in the NBA 2K21 Myplayer builder. But if you are brand new to my channel, before I get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. We're trying to hit 2,000 subscribers as soon as possible, so if you could hit that sub button, I would greatly appreciate it. And also, don't forget to drop a like in the video. Let's go for 25 likes on today's NBA 2K21 Myplayer builder video on what I want changed and how I think NBA 2K21 should go about making the builder for the next game. And without further ado, let's get straight into it. Now, I do want to preface this video by saying I think the NBA 2K20 Myplayer builder system was a very good system. It had a little bit of flaws to it, but overall I think the 2K20 Myplayer builder had a great combination of features with the pie charts. I really enjoyed the pie charts. I like how wingspan mattered a lot, height, all that I thought was very good, but there are a couple of glaring issues that definitely need to be addressed and changed for the NBA 2K21 Myplayer builder. And that starts with arguably the biggest problem in NBA 2K20 is lockdown defenders. Now, I think in NBA 2K21, the lockdown pie chart should be put to a minimum. And like NBA 2K18, lockdown pie charts are not that strong. And overall, I just think that lockdowns, they should be really good at defense. Like a pure lockdown build, obviously amazing at defense. But in NBA 2K20's Myplayer builder, a pure lockdown build can shoot the ball, it can dunk, it can get contact dunks on a pure defensive build. I feel like contact dunks should be limited to slashing builds only, and overall, I think defensive players have way too much offensive ability. Obviously, this is a pretty common opinion. Most people know this by now that defensive players have way too many attributes on the offensive side. As I said, guys, the pure defensive pies can get contact dunks, and they can even dribble a little bit too. And also, not even the pure lockdowns, just the two-way players in this game. The sharp defenders, the play locks, all those builds are just extremely overpowered, and they all revolve around defensive Hall of Fame badges. I think one of the big problems about this is that the defensive pie charts give you a crazy increase in speed, and basically that helps you dribbling a lot, because in NBA 2K20, the way you speed boost is you have 70% speed and 30% ball handling. So if you pick a lockdown pie chart, you can get better speed, which means you need less ball handling to speed boost. So it turns out that a sharp lock pie chart can speed boost pretty easily, and also a sharp finishing pie chart can speed boost just as easily. So overall, I think defensive pie chart should be definitely toned down a lot. People make lockdowns way too much, and I feel like the game should be easier to play defense without a lockdown build, because in NBA 2K20, if you don't have a lockdown build, it is almost impossible to play defense, and you can only really lock people up with a two-way or obviously a pure defensive pie chart. No matter how many affiliations they are, no matter how great the content is in the game, like the actual like parks and stuff, the game is going to revolve around the builds and how balanced they can be, because the hype only lasts so long with new parks and affiliations, and the gameplay is what keeps people sticking around for the whole cycle of this 2K. Okay, so we touched on lockdown builds. Now I want to move into sharpshooting pies being way too slow in general. So I think I have a lot of experience with this. I have a pure sharpshooting build in NBA 2K20, and I just feel like they limit sharpshooting builds so much this year. They make them super slow. Like my pure sharp build, 6'5" point guard, has like an 89 speed at 99 overall with gym rat. It's like really not that good at all. I really think that pure sharp should be a viable build in NBA 2K20. The only real comp player that uses a pure sharp build in NBA 2K20 is annoying, obviously, but mostly people just don't run pure sharps at all. They're way too slow. They have no defense, and I feel like pure builds, like pure defensive pie charts, are obviously very good, but like I think pure playmakers, pure slashing pie charts, I think they should be very valuable. Just because you are a pure playmaking pie chart, for instance, you get one category of Hall of Fame badges, and I think you should truly see a difference when you pick a pure pie chart over a dual pie chart. And I think just making the sharpshooting pies really slow and the defensive pies really fast just overall makes defensive pies even more valuable. And basically, as I talked about earlier, defensive pie charts, like a pure defensive pie chart, not only helps your lateral quickness, but also helps your speed with the ball. So picking a defensive pie chart also helps your speed, which makes no sense to me whatsoever. And now that we're on the topic of shooting builds, I want to talk about non-shooting builds and how effectively they can shoot. If you don't have sharpshooting in your build, you should not be able to make a three-pointer at all. I don't care if you're a legend build, I don't care how good you are at the game. If you are a pure defensive pie chart, anything, pure slashing pie chart, you should not be able to hit threes consistently, if ever. I do think though that a pure defensive pie chart should be able to green mid-ranges consistently, but three-pointers, I think only sharpshooting builds should be able to hit three-pointers consistently. Because obviously when every build can shoot, people make play locks and they can shoot just as well as a dual sharpshooter build. So I think in 2K21 Myplayer builder, make the three-pointers very low for non-shooting builds, and make sure that you can feel the difference when picking like a pure sharp or a dual sharp over like just a play lock or another build. This right here is a little nitpicky, but I think the build naming system in NBA 2K20 is terrible. Like a glass cleaning lockdown can be a sharpshooter or it can be a pure defensive build. I think that the build should be named basically just off the pie charts. Like, if you pick the finishing and defensive pie chart, you should be called a two-way finisher. Simple as that. If you are a pure sharp, call it a pure sharp. If you're a playmaking slasher, just call them a playmaking slasher so we know what pie chart they are. Because almost every game, you have to guess what build they are, like what pie chart they use, and it is very, very frustrating. And it can be multiple different pie charts for the same build name. Especially facilitating finisher. The facilitating finisher build name has like a lock pie chart variant, like a playmaking slasher variant. It just has so many different variants of builds, and I think the build naming system should be confined down to just what your build does. And I do think that there should be more customization to the pie charts. Obviously, there's only like pure pie chart for a skill and then dual pie chart for every skill. I think there should be more than that. Maybe like one pie chart with like 3 skills and no defense, or maybe like another pie chart with like all finishing. I don't know how that would work, but they would have to figure it out. But it would be pretty cool to have more customization with the pie charts, maybe more physical profiles as well. I think that would be a very good addition to the NBA 2K21 Myplayer builder. And I think they should keep the pie charts, obviously make more pie charts. People are talking about custom pie charts. I don't know exactly how that would work, but maybe if they want to add custom pie charts, they can. But overall, I think just adding a lot more pie charts would help the game a lot, and people wouldn't be complaining about we need custom pie charts as much. And I do think archetypes should stay. I don't think the 2K16 inside-outside balance should come back. I think the build system right now with the pie charts is a very good way to go. And I definitely don't think that your build should be able to do everything. Now, a lot of people every year talk about how I want to do everything. I want to be able to shoot, I want to be able to dribble, I want to be able to dunk on people, and I want to be able to play defense. Where I do hear where they're coming from, I think that is a terrible idea just for the game. It might sound good in the present right now in NBA 2K20. I think that having builds limited is overall a better option than having every build being able to do everything on the court. Because look at my team right now. NBA 2K20, my team has cards that can do everything on the court. Shaq shooting 3-pointers, Kareem dribbling, and it is a total disaster. Nobody in my team likes those cards. Nobody wants to have that in the game. Nobody wants a Shaq that can shoot 3-pointers. So I think if they did it in my career, it would be even more overpowered and people just wouldn't really enjoy it. I know players could do everything back in like 2K15, but it's a different time now. I think people would not enjoy that at all. It would not be good for casuals, in my opinion, whatsoever. So I think a pie chart to kind of limit your skill set is definitely a good option to make sure the game stays balanced and not way too overpowered with every build shooting 3-pointers and dunking on people. And also then, if every build could do everything, it would be really boring making builds. There's no point in making like multiple builds. I really like having different builds for different things, and I don't really think having one build every year for each player is going to be that fun. I think different builds, doing different skill sets is really what makes NBA 2K20 and makes people want to make new builds. And obviously, guys, 2K is probably not going to make every build be able to do everything because obviously they want to have the most VC sales, and more builds people make, more VC they make. And I think the way you get badge upgrades should be changed. I don't think I should have to upgrade my free throw if I'm purely a park player. I shouldn't have to upgrade my post fade strictly to get shooting badges. I shouldn't have to upgrade post moves just to get my playmaking badges up. And I think that would add a lot more to the customization because right now we are limited basically on what attributes we can upgrade for the most badge points. Obviously, for a defensive guard, you want to upgrade perimeter defense, lateral quickness, steal, and defensive rebound, just because those stats give you the most badge upgrades. It would be way more interesting if every like stat kind of gave you the same amount of badge caps, so people could really customize their build without feeling very limited. And also, this is a little bit slept on, but I think that all center height should be viable. 6'9" through 7'3". I think really that the 7'3" centers and just 7' bigs in general really became extinct in NBA 2K20 this year, and I think the 6'9" pure lock, 6'10" defensive builds became the meta for the center position. And I think that those builds should be good for NBA 2K21 as well, but also I think that 7'1" players, those 7'3" centers should really help as well. Like a 7'3" center should have his place on the court, and I feel like you should be able to feel the impact of having a 7'3" center versus a 6'9" center. Because right now in NBA 2K20, I feel that I have an equal chance to get a rebound with a 7'3" paint beast compared to a 6'9" paint beast, and that should not be happening whatsoever. Shorter players are definitely better this year, and I think that there should be more balance next year. Obviously, it's all about balance for NBA 2K21, and obviously making all heights viable is very important. Making 6'9" centers have a place on the court, and also having the 7'3" centers have their place in the game as well. And lastly, I want to talk about how non-defensive builds struggle with playing defense, and I feel like in a game like 2K17, you could clamp up with any build. You could clamp up with a sharpshooter, you could play defense with a shot creator, you could clamp up on any build in like NBA 2K17, and I think 2K needs to get back to that. It should reward good player defense and not reward you having a lockdown build. Obviously, it should reward good players players and not good archetypes / builds. Like, if you are not a defensive pie chart in NBA 2K20, it is almost impossible to get consistent stops, and it is very, very frustrating. Obviously, having a two-way makes it way too easy, but I think if a player has good defense on like a pure sharp build or a pure playmaker, they should be rewarded on the defensive end and not just penalized for their non-defensive build. Because it feels like the last couple of years at the end of the year, people have just been making lockdown builds, like double lockdown, because lockdowns can do almost everything in the game. That's basically my main point. Make sure the lockdowns are not too strong. Like 2K18 lockdowns are not that good. I think we should go back to that, when lockdowns weren't the meta and it was more about offensive-minded players, because that's way more fun to play in my opinion. Obviously, having an offensive-minded player is more fun in my opinion. Obviously, people have different tastes, but I think most of the community likes playing on offensive builds, and making them feel forced to play on a two-way or a lockdown is just not what the community wants or needs. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I just wanted to make a video talking about what I think should be added, changed, swapped, moved around, just tweaked in the NBA 2K21 Myplayer builder, because they can add all the perks they want, affiliations, but gameplay, the actual build system, and balancing is going to be very important to keeping the longevity of NBA 2K21 stable for its whole cycle. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. We're trying to hit 2,000 subscribers as fast as we possibly can, and your sub helps tremendously. And also, guys, don't forget to drop a like on the video. Same for 25 likes. Likes help a tremendous amount when recommending my content to people across YouTube that have not subscribed to me yet. So make sure to drop a like. It helps me gain a lot of subs and a lot of views, and it just helps the channel grow in general. And if you guys want to watch more of my 2K content, I'm going to leave an end screen right when this video finishes to 2 of my previous NBA 2K20 videos I think you guys would really enjoy. Have a great rest of your day, guys. It's been Story of Sam, and I am out. Peace.